You know that feeling, right? That constant tug of war between getting something done and making it absolutely perfect. Well, one of those gets you across the finish line. On the other, it often leaves you stuck at the starting block. Today, we're going to dive into why good enough isn't just a compromise, it's actually your secret weapon. Let's do this.
So let me just ask you straight up. Are you chasing perfect? Endlessly tweaking, doing just one more bit of research, polishing something until it shines, all while waiting for that magical, flawless moment to finally launch? It feels productive, I know, but it might be the very thing holding you back.
Because here's the cold, hard truth of it all. While you're buried in spreadsheets, debating the tiniest, most insignificant details, your competition is already out in the wild. They're shipping their product, they're getting feedback from real people, and they're building momentum. That's a powerful thing. And that brings us to what I like to call the perfection trap. It's sneaky, you know? It looks like you're being diligent, like you have this amazing commitment to quality. But what is it really? It's often just a surefire way to make sure you fall behind. Okay, check this out. I once watched a team burn 3 entire weeks comparing cloud providers. And the difference between the top two, it came down to 99.9% uptime versus 99.95%. While they were agonizing over that tiny little 0.05%, a competitor grabbed the supposedly worse option, shipped their thing, and was already starting on version 2. Game over. And that story just perfectly captures this idea. Speed compounds. Every time you ship something, you get new data, you get new feedback, you get new energy. It builds on itself, like interest in a bank account. Analysis, well, it just sits there. It doesn't grow on its own. You know, we always think we fail on big projects because we lose motivation or run out of steam. But I don't think that's the whole story. The real killer of getting things done isn't a lack of trying, it's complexity. It's that tangled spaghetti mess of steps and approvals we create that slowly chokes the life out of a project until it just fizzles out. So what's the way out of this complexity trap? Well, it's all about shifting your thinking and adopting the good enough mindset. And hold on, this is not an excuse to be lazy or to ship total junk. Not at all. It's about being smart and strategic. There's actually a great word for this, satisficing. It's a super powerful concept and it's dead simple. Step 1, you figure out your absolute must-haves, your non-negotiables. Step 2, you find the very first option that checks all those boxes. And then, this is the important part, you stop looking. You decide and you move on. And this is where you can really see the difference. On one side, you've got the maximizer. They're on this endless quest for the absolute best, which, let's be honest, usually ends with them being trapped in analysis and then second-guessing their choice later. But then you have the satisficer. They find good enough, they ship, they learn from the real world, and they build that unstoppable momentum we talked about. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. It loops right back to that idea of complexity. It's almost never the goal that's the problem. It's the ridiculously complicated path we draw for ourselves. If the path is straightforward, we keep walking. If it's a maze, well, eventually, we just get tired and quit. All right, let's get into something that sounds a little crazy at first. We all think we want total, unlimited freedom, right? Turns out that's often the worst thing for creativity. It's constraints, it's limitations that can actually spark genius. I mean, think about this. Dr. Seuss wrote the absolute classic Green Eggs and Ham because someone dared him to write a book using only 50 unique words. 50? That insane constraint didn't crush his creativity. It forced it into a laser beam, making him more inventive than ever before. And I've seen this happen in the business world too. A fintech company got hit with this complex new regulation that basically forced them to gut their customer sign-up process. At first, total panic. But then, they got creative. They stripped out all the fluff and redesigned the whole thing into just 3 simple steps. The result? Customers finished way faster, they were happier, and support calls plummeted. That constraint was a gift in disguise. So here's the big takeaway. Giving yourself unlimited options and endless freedom, that's often a recipe for unfocused, mediocre work. But setting smart, strategic constraints, that's how you force yourself to be brilliant. Okay, enough of the theory. This is all great, but how do we actually do it? Let's walk through a super practical tool you can use literally anytime you feel stuck. It's called the 90-minute action plan. Yep, that's it. 90 minutes. You don't need some week-long offsite or a massive retreat. All you need is one single, hyper-focused session that's built to force clarity and get you moving. The whole sprint is just 3 simple timed steps. First, you spend 30 minutes writing a 1-page press release for your idea. Next, 45 minutes drafting what we'll call an honest FAQ. And finally, you take 15 minutes to subtract one thing. Let's quickly break that down. The press release makes you think about the user and the benefits, not just a list of features. The honest FAQ is where you get real about all the risks, and this is the secret sauce. You define your kill rules. A kill rule is your escape hatch. Like, if we don't get 100 signups in the first month, we kill the project. It gives you a clear off-ramp. And finally, subtract. Don't just plan to remove something, actually do it. Delete a meeting from the calendar. Remove a field from a form. Take one step out of a process. Today. By the end of those 90 minutes, you won't just have a clearer plan, you'll have already taken real action. So now it's your turn to get out there and ship something. And here's a little checklist to keep in your back pocket. Before you start optimizing or tweaking anything, just run through these 6 questions. Have we written the press release? Do we know our must-haves from our nice-to-haves? Are we satisficing, or are we falling into the maximizing trap? What's the kill rule? What can we subtract right now? And finally, who owns the next ship date? These questions will cut right through the noise. And look, if you only remember one single thing from all of this, please let it be this. Your real competitive advantage, your secret to getting things done, isn't found in all the cool stuff you can add to a project. It's found in what you have the discipline and the raw courage to subtract. So I'll leave you with a direct challenge. Not for tomorrow, not for next week, right now. Look at what you're working on, your projects, your calendar, your to-do list. What is one thing you're going to subtract today?